The importance of public-private partnerships was a key theme at the Global Insurance Forum, but when governments and industry collaborate, it's important to have an understanding of their respective goals and roles. Here, Gary Reeder reviews developments in PPPs and where they play an important part in achieving security and sustainable growth. He is Global Head of Insurance at KPMG and had this to say.
So I think public-private partnerships are so crucial to the industry when you look across the world at the issues of climate change, at resilience, at building real economic stability. And really, if you look at all of those and the impact of all of those, the risks they create and the potential costs that they drive, I mean, all of that is adding up and driving to this huge protection gap, which is the theme of this conference. And the reality is that I think no government or public body has the resources to address that gap alone. And from an insurance perspective, I think the cost of insurance alone is just prohibitive to cover some of those risks. So what you come down to is the best and really only way to address it is to bring these parties together. So the governments, the public bodies that have a particular issue to address, an industry that has a deep and long history of understanding risk, bringing those together, getting them to collaborate, to work through how to find solutions to those issues. I mean, I think the industry has been, taking a lead on this already. Many in the industry have signed up to, the UN Principles for Sustainable Insurance. We've got the event at the UN this week, launching the Insurance Development Forum. I think, it shows the industry is really willing and wanting to engage around these issues, recognises it has a lot to offer, but can't do it on its own. And so it's coming together with public bodies that really brings I think, the solutions to the fore. And as I said in a publication we've just launched on this very topic, it's not about the industry just throwing dollars at development projects. It's about building and designing a win-win for business and government. I mean, the goals of policymakers, of governments, really is to, is at one level to protect, their citizens, to provide for their citizens. But I guess it's also about taking risk off country balance sheets, off government balance sheets. So there's a huge risk to manage and a huge cost that potentially to be borne. And so I think what the industry brings in terms of helping government is this deep expertise around risk. Insurance is about the management of risk. Insurance organizations have spent many years developing models, refining and analyzing data, looking at the causes of incidents, of issues that now I think it can use that knowledge and impart that knowledge and work with governments to try and address those risks, help governments manage those risks to best effect. So I think it's really about that deep core risk management capability, I think, is what it's really about when it comes to how they can support government. I think there's really three main objectives fulfilled by PPPs. One is really all about they can provide what we call patient capital. They can invest and then wait, and take a long-term view about the results of that investment. I think secondly, they've got that deep risk management, knowledge and know-how that they can impart and help inform, solutions to address, some of the many issues that are encompassed in this issue of the protection gap. And I think thirdly, perhaps most importantly, they can facilitate risk transfer. They can take risk away from government and put it onto their balance sheets or syndicate it in some way. So I think those would be the three key areas. I think the approach to PPPs of if you like, both corporates and government, I think it's looking or being open to new ways of working together. I think there's a need for real collaboration, to be really open-minded about what solutions could look like. I think it's really about, for me, it's about innovation. Actually, I think. In fact, we've just launched, done a lot of research ourselves actually as an organisation around innovation in the industry, and I think the industry recognises very broadly it needs to innovate to survive and be relevant as it goes forward. And I think in the context of PPPs, that is an area that is absolutely demanding demanding innovation. If you're to find that breakthrough way of working, that construct, whatever it might be, requires really new thinking. I think the industry and the government bodies need to be less cautious, need to be open to new ideas. In some ways, ironically, maybe the industry needs to be a little less risk averse. It sounds slightly strange to an industry that probably is inherently cautious, needs to step back a bit, because I think through doing that has the potential to find these new ideas, come up with these new ways of working with government to ultimately solve these issues, find ways of closing that protection gap. I think the growth opportunity for insurers through engagement in public-private practices.
For more of our coverage of the Global Insurance Forum
enormous.
New York, visit the Ring TV on-demand library.
Here at the IIS, we've heard many figures bandied around about not the protection gap as a whole, but elements of it. And I think we're probably talking, the gap is trillions, not billions of dollars, and it's both, developed markets and developing markets issue. So I think the opportunity, be it around, solving and providing healthcare cover for developing countries, whether it's being enabler to the financing of large infrastructure programs. I think there's a significant piece around, being core to the development of resilient cities of the future. We see, urbanization is a key trend. So many people are going to be living in large cities. The need to be protected and resilient, I think, is critical. And I think that there's a mass of business opportunity there for the industry. So I just think, it's a case of choosing where they want to play. I mean, they're not short, the industry's not short of opportunities in this space. It's picking those areas, finding ways of innovating to come up with solution around whatever that particular aspect might be, and really just going for it. I think the opportunity is immense.